What has two thumbs and just got banned from Great Britain? This guy. John McCrae, aka What Do You Meme, and I had a perfect plan. We were going to head to Newark for DebateCon on Saturday, where I would debate Robert Spencer on the existence of Muhammad. After the debate, we were going to take an overnight flight to London. We would arrive in London Sunday morning, drop our bags at the hotel, and head straight to Speaker's Corner, where our Muslim friends would have an opportunity to thank me in person for defending their prophet from the Islamophobic attacks of Robert Spencer. We were going to spend the day at Speaker's Corner recording the Dawa guys as they run from us. Then we were going to take the Christians who go to Speaker's Corner to dinner. After that, we had a 3-day conference, the ARC conference. ARC stands for Alliance for Responsible Citizenship. Jordan Peterson, Ayaan Hirsi Ali, Douglas Murray, Oz Guinness, Konstantin Kisin, Dave Rubin, and many, many others were speaking. We had a number of interviews and collaborations lined up. Wednesday evening, after the conference concluded, we were going to board the Eurostar train from London to Paris because we had a video to record in the Louvre Thursday morning. As soon as we were done recording, we were heading back to the U.S. from Paris. So, it was supposed to be one of the most epic weeks in apologetics history. What could go wrong? Great Britain could go wrong, as it's been doing a lot lately. The organizers of the ARC conference sent us an email saying that as of January 8th, can't believe they did this on Elvis's birthday, as of January 8th, people traveling to Great Britain from the U.S. had to apply for an electronic travel authorization, an ETA. I've been to Great Britain probably about a dozen times for conferences and debates, so I didn't think there would be a problem. Prior to January 8th, if you wanted to travel from the U.S. to the U.K., you bought a plane ticket and brought your passport. But now they require an ETA so they can weed out any undesirables. I applied for the ETA and they sent me a rejection message the day before we were leaving for DebateCon. The rejection email said that the rejection cannot be appealed and that if I want to travel to the UK, I have to apply for a visa. So I filed an expedited application for a visa and they instantly rejected it. Dawa clowns of Speaker's Corner, rejoice, for David Wood is apparently not allowed to travel to the UK for any reason ever again. Now, I don't believe that other countries are under any obligation to let me into their country if they don't want me there. I'm not allowed in Canada. If someone says, David, you should come to Canada and speak at our college, I tell them I'm not allowed in Canada. But I don't care much. The world is a big place. I don't have to go to Canada. I don't have to go to the UK. There are plenty of conferences here in the US. And if something really interesting is happening in Canada or the UK, I can probably follow it online. So, why am I making this video? I'm making this video because instead of the British government saying, don't forget to get your ETA before you travel, as if it's this simple little step, they should be saying, warning, do not make plans to travel here unless you've been granted an ETA because the government can reject you without any option to appeal. Even if you've been here a million times, things have changed, so whatever you do, don't make plans or buy tickets until you've received an ETA. We made our plans before January 8th. So we didn't even know there was this huge change and that they're now filtering people out. This wouldn't have been much of a problem if I hadn't bought plane tickets, a conference ticket, Eurostar tickets, and Louvre tickets, all of them non-refundable because it never crossed my mind that I wouldn't be allowed to travel. So, thousands of dollars totally wasted because I had no clue I was no longer allowed in the UK. I know now, but it's been a pretty expensive lesson. Fortunately, John got to go, and my conference ticket wasn't wasted. Tickets to ARC are expensive, but they let me give my ticket to a friend in London who said he'd love to go. But all the other tickets, wasted. So, attention British government. Please warn people about this so they don't make the same stupid mistake I just made and waste a bunch of money that they really can't afford to waste. The British government, of course, isn't going to give people the kind of warning they should be given, which is why I'm making this video. I'm warning you. Do not make plans to go to the UK unless you've jumped through their new hoops first. You may be thinking, but David, why would I want to go to the UK when it's rapidly turning into a third world Sharia-compliant hellhole? Well, that's the reason. If you want to visit the UK when it still somewhat resembles the UK, you have to do that pretty soon because it's becoming unrecognizable. So if you ever want to see the UK, you need to do it in the very near future. And if you want to do that, make sure you get the ETA situation handled before you waste a lot of time and money. Great Britain banning me did make me think about an important difference between certain Western nations and pretty much all other nations. At first, I thought about Israel, because when AP and I went to Israel last year, they seemed like they didn't want to let us in when we were at the airport. They asked us questions for like 45 minutes. Didn't seem very welcoming. But the reason they're so careful is that there are lots of people who hate them, and they don't want to let people who hate them into their country. When they found out, through lots of questioning, that we don't hate them, they let us in. That makes sense. But certain Western countries, the UK, Germany, Sweden, France, Canada, they want to bring in as many people who hate them as possible. The more you hate them, the more they want you. And if you want to help them, if you want their culture to survive and flourish, if you don't want to see them subjugated, you're the enemy. They don't want you there. It's absolutely insane. Eastern European nations, places like Poland and Ukraine, really don't want to be conquered or subjugated. They love their countries. If you want to help them, they'll appreciate your help. If you hate them or you want to destroy their culture, they don't want you there. Why would they? Very different from Western European nations, where their leaders are plagued by guilt over things their ancestors did, and they think that the only way to atone for the sins of the past is to hand their cities and wives and daughters over to people who want to do really, really bad things. This makes me wonder, should we keep trying to help nations that despise us for trying to help them? Part of me says yes, because no matter how much you despise me, I don't want jihadis taking your wives and daughters as captives. Hate me all you want. I don't want you to submit to that. So I'd still love to help you. But we all have limited time and limited resources. So I'm thinking that maybe the only help we can give to Western European nations is to continue warning them, hoping that they eventually break whatever spell they're under. If we're going to help in other ways, maybe we'd be better off helping countries that want to survive and who appreciate any help we can give them. For example, when we were in Israel and people found out that we don't want to see Israel fall to jihadis, they had nothing but love for us. From regular citizens all the way up to government officials, nothing but gratitude towards people who want to help them. Lots of small businesses in Israel went out of business after the war started, because lots of small businesses in Israel are tourism-based, and there was no tourism after the war started. We couldn't do much to help businesses, but AP was contacted by someone who said we could help by promoting Artza boxes. There's a company that gathers products made in Israel from small businesses, Jewish and Christian businesses, and some charities, and they send them to you in a box. Some of the small businesses only survived because they could sell items in these Artza boxes. So we each did a promo, which isn't a lot, but it's something we could do. And we got a lot of messages from people who were extremely grateful that we were even thinking about helping them. Again, very different from the UK, where if you want to help them, you're the enemy. So there are people who want to subjugate Western European nations. all we can really do is continue to warn them until they start paying attention. There are people who want to subjugate other nations, and these other nations don't need to be warned because they're not insane and they understand the danger they're in. If we can do anything to help these other nations, nations that actually want to survive, even if we can only do something small, it's good to do it. A bunch of people doing something small to help adds up to something big. Speaking of doing something to help, if you're not signed up to get a quarterly Artsa box, please sign up. They're not very expensive, especially considering what you're getting and how many people you're helping to make it through some difficult times. Why is this important? Well, jihadis are thinking long term. They often know they can't win a fight, but they'll fight anyway and use the fight to spread hostility against their enemy and to hurt the economy of their enemy with the goal of weakening their enemy for a future fight they hope they can win. As a general rule, when you figure out what evil people are planning, and you can think of some small way to toss a monkey wrench into their plan, good idea to do it, especially if a bunch of people start tossing in monkey wrenches. I just gave you one easy way to help. There's a link to the Artsa website in the description box. You can use the promo code DIZZLE for a discount. They won't hate you for signing up. They'll love you for helping. They'll love me for telling you how to help. As for Great Britain, or should I say not so Great Britain, or perhaps even aspiring Sharia-compliant hellhole Britanistan, my goodness, warn people that they might not be welcome in your country before they make the same stupid mistake I did. That's not a lot to ask, considering the thousands of dollars you delusional, self-destructive clowns just cost me.